Hello and welcome, Dadas. Today we are away from our normal studio. We are in Kitisuru and we are visiting with Senator Beth Mugo. We've been talking about cancer for the last 1 month and we wanted to wrap it up with a story from the Senator and ask a couple of questions. It's about her journey with cancer and about her foundation. Karibu, Senator Beth Mugo.
Asante sana and welcome.
Thank you so much. We are so excited to be here and we love your garden. We love your garden. It's a beautiful garden. I wanted to begin by asking you questions about, just a bit about your normal day. Is it very busy to be a senator?
Well, it's very busy to be a senator if you want it to be. You know, you can maybe make it lighter. You can, it's how you foresee your work. Have been in other much busier positions, like when I represented Dagoretti as a member of parliament for a constituency in Nairobi, which was not a walk in the park. So then I was much busier than I am today. And of course, at the same time, part of my service in parliament, I was also a minister of government. So being was assistant minister of education, and after that I was cabinet minister for health, what they say now CS, and combining the constituency and ministerial duties, again, that was much heavier than being a senator today. But yes, it is busy, it's still busy, but not that busy.
Because this is a women's talk show, I have to ask this. You are a mother, you've been a wife. How have you combined that? Because I'm sure there are ladies out there who think, how do you do it? How do you do it? Before we dive into cancer, how do you combine being a public figure and yet being a private person and having a marriage, 61 years old, and having children? How did you do it?
I think I didn't do it. I think God helped me to do it. I committed myself to God. I'm a Christian, strong Christian. And I realized that they are all service to God. Having a family, serving the community is all part of my service to God. And I've always been in public life. Before going to active politics, I was a women's leader in the women movement. Uh, I founded the Kenya Business and Professional Women's, which was affiliated to the International Federation of Business and Professional Women. So I was very involved in empowering women. And from there, then I stepped to politics. But when I went to politics, my children then were a bit bigger. They were a bit grown, not very dependent on me. So I think the timing was right for going to active siasa. I think how I have managed is because apart from trusting in God and praying, my family has been very supportive. My husband was been extremely supportive in my career. And then we have been like a team. I've never felt like I'm walking a journey alone. He has always been part of what I'm doing. We have 4 children and 5 grandchildren who I love very much. And sometimes I feel like I don't spend enough time with my grandchildren. But they're now grown up, of course, and we spend quality time. Um, my husband, we realized from the beginning that to be one, as the vows say, is to really be one in big and small things. That there are no small things in marriage. And issues like finances, we've never had problem to quarrel about money, whose money. We don't have his money and my money. It's our money. And one can spend it reasonably, of course. And then if it's properties, what many people quarrel about, we have always had joint properties as well. We are both, we invest together. So And then we consult even on little things that people think maybe it doesn't matter. And in the morning, my husband will say to me, "How is your day like today?" And when we pray, in the morning we pray for the day. So in a way, I think the journey has been not that difficult. And it's support also from my children and the bigger family. Yes.
It's so hard for me to tear myself away and talk about cancer, but I have to. A few years ago, you discovered you had breast cancer. I think you were probably having a normal day, going about your life. And I was doing my research and I found out that you had actually gone for a test and there was a bit of a, the doctor said there was a small lump. Could you tell us what happened?
Yeah, about 2012, 2011, about in April, I believe it was April, I felt like there was a thickening on the lower part of my breast. And I felt the breast and I went for mammogram and nothing was found. It was clear. So again in November now, I had gone for my normal tests, the usual we should all do, especially in our ages, yearly tests. It's cheaper. Sometimes you think it's expensive, but it's cheaper than having a full-blown situation where now you spend much more money with medication and treatment. So during this normal testing, that's when the person who was doing the tests felt that there was a lump down here. But first I had argued with my doctor. I said, no, 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 I'm not going to do mammogram because I did that in April. I think it was April, just before Easter, and it was clear. So he said, just to be sure, because we are doing a complete body tests, I would like to do it, if you agree. So we did it, and I said, no more mammogram. So he proposed, and he said, then we do ultrasound. And it is ultrasound that found the little lump. Of course, when you hear a lump, you jump, you get a little shock. I said, a lump? What, what kind of a lump? And he said to me, don't get alarmed. I'm not saying it's cancer. I'm saying we have to investigate. It could be just ordinary, benign kind of lump. So I haven't said it's cancer, but you need further investigation. And at that time, because I was the Minister for Public Health and Sanitation, which made it even more difficult. And we had a conference of ministers coming to Mombasa. I was taking over the chairmanship of the Eastern, Central, and Southern Ministers of Health Council in 2 weeks. So I waited for the 2 weeks to finish my work, which my doctor says was a big mistake. And I want to tell all those, if you're found with a lump, you go right away because it could change from to go to a stage 2 if it was stage 1, or what they call stages, or spread. But I waited and finished that. But as soon as I finished, then I went for further tests, which is when they did a test called FNA, fine needle test, which they don't do a normal biop. It just they put this needle through the breast and they bring a sample. And that's when they confirmed I have cancer. And the doctor who broke the news to me they were very gentle. He said, you know, it's a very, very early stage, and we have no doubt we can treat you fully because it's at the beginning. And they had removed a gland from my left hand side, the side that the cancer was on the left hand side. And they said the glands are clear because when cancer starts to spread, breast cancer, that is, it goes to the glands first and then it spreads to the rest of the body. So they said there are no chances that it has spread because the glands are clear. And that's how I started my journey. They were very encouraging to me.
When you broke the news to your family, what did that feel like?
Of course, my family got a shock. My immediate family, especially my husband, knew all along what's happening. So it did not come as a shock with him. He had taken me, he had come with me to US. We had the treatment done in the United States, and my daughter. So when it was broken, of course, we were all, our heads went down. And the doctor who was taking care of me is a top oncologist, is an oncology professor, is a university hospital. He said to me, we will be able to treat this cancer because it's very, very early and you have done the wise thing, the right thing to come at this stage. So I would say that I was shaken. Of course, when you hear the word cancer, immediately you think, am I going to die? Is this it? But that left my mind very quickly. After that, I did not see like I'm staring to death. I felt that we are going to beat this cancer. I did not lose sleep over it. You know, by lose sleep, I mean start worrying so much that I was seeing death and nothing else. And my husband and the family were very encouraging. Of course, my wider family also now got to know, and of course, they were shocked at first. Uh, but they also accommodated and they were very helpful. I had a lot of support. And my employer, I made a point, I first when I told President Kibaki, because I was what's happening, and I told him I've been told it will take 6 months to treat. And President Kibaki said, that's all right, Minister. You can still do your job. I was very grateful. And that, I think, also helped to heal. He did not say, I replace you or I put another minister to act in your docket. He said, these days an era with all the technology, you can do your ministerial work from anywhere. You're in contact throughout. And it's true, I used to sign the questions for Parliament, and I used to direct how they will be answered to my peers, and they will be read by my assistant minister, but with my signature when I was still getting treatment. That also made me feel not sickly. I was active throughout and continued with my work.
And you were empowered in a way because you felt, but you did something very bold, especially for that time. You went public. You said you were unwell. That was very bold. Why did you do that?
I did that because, at that time, cancer, there was a lot of stigma on cancer. There still is today. And when I went to the Ministry of Public Health, I officiated a program, I think it was by Daily Nation, on cancer. It was the Cancer Month. And my words to the people forum, because it was a breakfast meeting, I said, we are all candidates for cancer. Little did I know, and we're talking about breast cancer. Uh, I decided to go public because for two things, I felt in my position as a minister, or what they call a secretary these days, CS, it will make people feel cancer, anyone can get cancer. And cancer is a disease like any other. And instead of hiding, once you're told you hide under the closet, you come out and you stop feeling sorry for yourself and you feel you will heal because you continue with your life as you were before. That's one reason, reducing stigma. And the other one was also to get women to go for checkups. And the minute I announced I had cancer, they said, even Beth Mugo, even the minister. And the health places were full. People went to be checked. There were queues. And I think I achieved what I had set out to do. I felt it was my duty now, not only as a minister, but also as a citizen, as a mother, to really do something for the others, maybe to have the same chance I had, or even better if they know early. And I would encourage the women, the girls, to feel, to know their body, to feel their breasts especially. Because a machine you had done, a mammogram had missed,
Yes.
can miss. But if you feel it yourself, then you can insist, no, I would like another test. Because this disease, catching it early, it's the key. Because we cannot say we'll prevent it. I tell you, cancer is all over the world. It's not just specific to Kenya or even to Africa. US, Germany, Japan, everywhere, cancer is there. But it's how we manage it. If we manage it properly, we can save lives. We don't need to have as many deaths as we are having today. And something else I would like to add here for those like me who have gone through the kind of operation, especially having their gland removed to check cancer, because I've seen some women with their hands swollen
Yes.
very much. You are not supposed to have any more tests, anything done like drawing blood from that hand, that side, things like that.
Really, yeah. We
Things
actually
like
had
that.
a lady on this show who said that she had had an operation. I think a show before you or two shows just before, and she said that her hand swells,
Yes.
and sometimes she has to place it on a.
Because most of the time, to determine, the doctors to determine how spread the cancer is, they remove a gland from under the arm to see, to test. And that's another thing my doctor taught me, to make, even in emergency, I'm supposed to wear something here, saying don't take blood, I don't use this hand for tests. Um, it's small things, but they can prevent. So
Very important.
very
What was
important.
your treatment like? I know you went to the States. Was it rough?
It was rough to a point, but it was bearable. They would prepare you for it. They give you chemo is the one that's very rough, and they have medication which they give you the day before the chemo, and they'll give a little injection here, and that takes away the bigger, that nauseating and feeling you can eat anything, vomiting some people. It worked very well for me. But the second day after chemo, around midnight in the night, it was very rough, intense on the body. And I asked my doctor, and he said that there's the medicine fighting with the cancer cells. I laugh about it now. But because I found it strange. But I couldn't understand. Well, the doctors, I think they know. The second day was a bit rough, especially in the night, depending on what time you took the medicine. I would go in the morning, and they administer for about 3 to 4 hours. After that, I was okay. When that passed, then I would wait for 2 weeks and get the next test, the next chemo. Uh, you lose a bit of appetite, yes, but you manage to eat. Okay, I wouldn't say it was unbearable, but of course, it's a sickness. It's a sickness. Um, but I would like to really encourage people to go for testing, to go for, we have the mammogram, things I did when I was a minister, and I'm sure more things have been done. You know, the president, he was then in the Ministry of Finance. he gave us money to build family health centers in every county, in every constituency, and we had 210. Nairobi, we did not get for Nairobi. We were told Nairobi we have hospitals nearby, well equipped, but we did in all the other constituencies across the country. And in those centers, we put cryotherapy machine, which tests um, cervical cancer. And it's very easy. With even nurses who are trained specifically, they would use this machine, and when they put it in, they can find if there are cancer cells beginning, and if there is, that's now cervical cancer, they freeze. This machine freezes those cancers, and it's done, it's finished. So the cancer doesn't grow, doesn't go on. So we try to bring the testing closer to the people. On the breast, it's very easy. It's just the nurses feel the breast. And actually, even the cervical testing cancer, you know, they use iodine, they use, when they do the pap smear, it's very easy to tell there is any cancer cells. So it's not a big thing, a costly thing that our people say, no, we can't afford. Then another thing I did was to make sure or have mammograms put in all the regional hospitals. And that's bringing closer people. Women don't have to come all the way to Kenyatta, Nairobi. They can get it near them. I think now that they are trying to put for every county, which is wonderful. I think it's already there now. So there's no reason why people would wait until stage 4 or when cancer starts hurting, that you have to start feeling pain somewhere in the breast or wherever to go for tests. Because when cancer starts hurting, it's late. Yeah, it's too late. I didn't have any pain myself. And if we can really take that seriously, don't be too busy. When I was the minister, we had a trial for HPV virus, or human papilloma virus tests in Kitui. Actually, I'm the one who introduced with the help of Gavi. And I'm so happy now because the minister, the ministry are going to launch this.
Yes, finally.
Finally, it's here.
Yes, it's here.
Finally.
Yes,
and
for
this was,
girls.
and we did this in 2013. I have always been very concerned about prevention, about reducing costs, reducing deaths from cancer. And I really want to encourage. I know when something new comes, there's sometimes a lot of people are not comfortable, and some people resist. Let us have our young girls, before they enter that age of sexually active, they recommend 10 years, to start with 10 years. If we can really do that for all our girls all over the country, I hope the ministry from Mombasa, they will bring it up all the way to Kisumu. That way we will reduce a lot. For the future women, because even as we cry for ourselves, we must think of the future, the children, the women of this country. We can do away maybe completely with
cervical cancer.
cervical cancer. That's one I really feel very happy about. I congratulate the Minister of Health, Cicely, for this big step. And let us all support her. Anything that reduces cancer, we should all, because we are all, as I said, we don't know who will be next victim. Yeah.
I think I wanted to end this part of the interview by asking you, before we talk about the foundation, I wanted to ask you about the lifestyle. I know at one point you talked about soya. Do you still feel as strongly about soya? Could you tell us a bit about that? Because I was doing my research and I saw you spoke strongly about soya. What's that about?
Um, this was about when I went through my treatment. This is one of the things that my doctor was very strong about to tell me not to touch. Before then, and what I thought, it can be then something, there's something there, because for about 7 years, I had been using soya milk. And I immediately connected it to what my doctor said because of my experience then. It is true, soya has many health benefits, as proven by scientists. But I would like to encourage, because the research that has been done, you know, this was 2016 now
Yes.
when I spoke about this, uh, checked even the reason, the scientific research that has been done is inconclusive. Some are saying, yes, it can promote cancer. Breast, I'm not talking about all cancers. Others are saying it does not. So my prayer is, sooner than later, they can agree. They can bring this research to conclusion, so then we can be comfortable even about soya.
Yeah.
Um, so these doubts of, is it, does it promote or doesn't it promote? It nags one's mind. But I want to say here, I have absolutely nothing against soya.
Okay.
And soya is known also as a health food. But even sometimes, health foods can cause something else in a certain way. For me, I thought it caused my breast cancer. Uh, but I'm not,
Yeah.
it's not conclusive,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So we need them, the scientists, to bring this to closure so that we can be comfortable about soil.
I was reading, I was watching an interview you had done, and you said the one thing that you remember about your journey with cancer was that it changed your perspective to life. That sometimes you are just going on with life and you get used to life, and then something like cancer comes along, and you begin to think, okay, what are the important things in my life? Could you add to that?
Yeah, I think what I meant is until you come to a major thing in your life, you take a lot of things for granted, even health. You thought you'll always be all right. Cancer was the furthest thing from my mind. Even when I said we are all candidates, I don't know if I put myself completely in that. By getting cancer, I found that really a lot of things we do, we think, we quarrel, we do what, they're all vanity. The most important thing in one's life is health. Because when health goes, everything else goes with it. And I found that with cancer. I'm lucky because God helped me to come to spring back to who I always have been. But what I did is I upped my game of advocating for women, their health, advocating for humanity, their health. But as if you followed my life, you see I've been a very strong fighter for women.
Yes.
And this breast and cervical and has really oppressed women. Is the biggest killer, breast in all cancers, and cervical, and then prostate for men. So when I say it changed my life, it changed my values.
Yes.
What I valued, I felt, yes, good life is good, but you must also do something for your health and health for others.
Yes.
And that's really what drove me to go public, as I told you, even as a minister, even as embarrassing as it was. At first, I had told my doctor to lock my file under lock and key, because as a minister, even the press came to my room when I was admitted. They want to know what's wrong. I told them it was just a general checkup, which was true. I was going through a general checkup. But then after that, I changed. And I thought, no, 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 I can't hide something like this. I probably will save some lives by people knowing anyone can get this cancer, and it's not shameful to get cancer. That's one thing I did. Of course, I told you about the cryotherapy machines, try to support them there for general. But then I decided then after to launch the,
Yeah.
the
That's going to be the second half of our show, and you've led me so well there. We're going to a break. We will come back with Beth Mugo. We'll talk about the Beth Mugo Cancer Foundation, and don't go too far. Go and get yourself a cup of tea and be right back. Welcome back, Dadas. Today we are at Kuchisuru. We are visiting with Senator Beth Mugo. She has been very kind and shared her journey with cancer with us. We want to continue and talk about the Beth Mugo Cancer Foundation. We are so proud of you for taking lemon and making it into lemonade. How did that idea begin? Because it's literally taking lemon and making lemonade. How did you begin to think about this idea when you came back?
When I came back, I I felt that I was in a position to make a difference. One, because of my position, having been a member of parliament and a minister of health, and also as a leader of women movement for many years. So I've been in public figure for quite a while. And I thought my voice would be heard and maybe help somebody, maybe help to save a life, which even if you save just one life, to me it was important. And I think that's what encouraged me to talk freely about cancer, to try to say what I thought would help, or what I, not just what I thought. I've been informed in my many other, as Minister of Health, we were also very involved with WHO, with conferences, so I had a wealth of information. And I thought, it's my duty to do something for the humankind. And that's why now in 2016, we started, my husband and I discussed this, and we decided, yes, it was a good thing to start a foundation. And of course, all the preparations, we engaged with the Ministry of Health, we engaged with other groups who are in this area, because we are not the only people working on the cancer area. And we thought that foundation has a place. It would help a great deal, especially in awareness, screening, because screening will lead to early detection and early treatment. And early treatment is what we are all looking for. Education on lifestyles, and that's what the foundation do. So in October 2016 is when we launched the foundation. I was launched by the gracious First Lady. She kindly agreed to launch for us, and the Minister of Health then. It was quite an occasion at the KICC, and we had the screening for 2 days. We had planned for one day, but the lines came from High Court all the way to Intercontinental, all the way up and back to KICC. So the first day we did not finish. And in the evening, it became chaotic because we had tents, we had like 30 doctors. We had a big camp. and many, many nurses. It was like a total of 60. In the evening, they refused to go. So I talked to the management of KICC to allow us a second day, which they did. First of all, we were told by Kenyatta doctors, we had a lot of doctors from there, and they were offered free at Kenyatta the next day. And they said, no, 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 tunataka ya Beth Mugo. They really refused to go. So the doctors agreed to come to the next day to KICC, which was very gracious of them. And in total, we screened over 6,000 women and men. And our screening is centered, of course, in breast, cervical, and prostate. And I would like to encourage the men also to agree to have breast treatment, testing or screening of breasts, because, of course, it has been established men also do get breast cancer. And we have some of our own who have gone public here that they had breast cancer.
In the last 3 years, I think you've done a lot of work. You've partnered with, I think, Beyond Zero and you've gone nearly all over the country. What has been some of your learnings as you have traveled the country screening for cancer?
Yeah, you're right. We've gone to many counties so far. And actually, we have screened a total of 11,516 people.
Wow.
At first, men were slow to come, was more women. Today, they are coming almost half-half. So it shows the message is getting through. I think that's one thing we have learned. It also shows that people are more aware now of the need for testing for cancer, and especially the three cancers I have mentioned, which used to be very, people, reproductive health.
Yes.
Reproductive health,
Yeah,
people
people
don't
are
like to talk
shy.
about, they're shy. Today we have seen a change that some of the places where we have gone, even the men have come almost half-half with the women. We have been to, apart from Nairobi, of course I started in Dagoretti.
Yes, of course. It would be wrong if you did
If
not
I
start in
didn't,
Dagoretti.
yeah, and they had to taste
Yeah.
your children. First you
Yeah.
do it yourself to taste and know whether the food is good.
Yeah.
So Dagoretti went very, very well. Then we had KICC. And after that, we have gone to Narok, we are going to Machakos, we are going to Kisumu, we are going to West Pokot, we have gone to Nyandarua, we have gone quite a few, and of course in my church. Um, I want to thank the governors, the counties where we have been. They have been very supportive. They have worked with us on it. They would really mobilize. And when we have to refer all the cases where we find somebody needs further investigation, we refer them to the senior, to the hospital, the level 5 in the county, or level 4, whichever they have, for further investigation. And if need be, then they can be forwarded further. Because you cannot tell somebody you have felt a lump and leave them.
Yeah.
They die quicker than even they would have died. So we try to see that we take care
Okay.
of this. And then we encourage, everywhere we go, we have NHIF desk
Yes.
also doing the insurances, because the insurance also helps a great deal. I think we have learned quite a few, how to be prepared. We also have a team of nurses we have trained, retrained ourselves, who go with us in all those places. And I would like to say here the people we partner with, because they have been of great help to what we are trying to do.
Please plug them in.
Yeah, and mind you, because this is not a one-person show or one group, it's a combination of it, and that's why it will be successful.
Yes.
If we all hold hands, they say one hand can only do very little, but if you look at that vehicle, which is our clinic, which has 2 examination rooms, and even there is a washroom, there is a pharmacy, there is a full clinic. We have hands on it as part of our logo, saying, together we can conquer cancer. So it's really a group effort. And Roche company, Roche Kenya Limited, that's the medicine drugs company who do a lot of drugs for cancer, and who are working with the government, the Ministry of Health, and they support treatment free for a number free. They provide medication for a certain number of patients who really need that. And we work with them also. Cooperative Bank of Kenya gave us funds for screening. Then we have Stake Hearing Technologies, who also give us 2 million a year. That's that's a U.S. company based in Minnesota, and they give free hearing aids to our people. They have really rehabilitated some students from deaf school, what we call deaf school. It should be like 50% or 60 back to normal because they give them hearing aids. A lot of them, the problem is just having the hearing aid. So we work with them. Beyond Zero.
Yes.
And Beyond Zero, the First Ladies group are the ones that donated
The
this
track.
for which we are really very, very grateful. And when she has her medical camp, we also go and do the screening for her medical camps. So Cure Cervical Cancer, they are the ones who helped us to train nurses. We held training at Bahati for nurses, oncology nurses, to know how now to test. They are trained nurses already, but then specialize, and they are the ones we go with in all these camps, wherever we go. And the county governments, they have been very, very helpful. The governors have worked with us, especially the governor of Machakos, Mutua. He really supported in a very big way, for which we are very grateful. Also NHIF, they have been able to give the cover, and they also supported us when we were starting. So it's a combination of many hands. And I want to appeal to other companies,
I think you should.
other banks,
Yes.
to really come and support this. We keep very clean accounts. I think I have a clean name with them. Beyond Zero.
Yes.
And Beyond Zero, the First Ladies group are the ones that donated
The
this
track.
for which we are really very, very grateful. And when she has her medical camp, we also go and do the screening for her medical camps. So Cure Cervical Cancer, they are the ones who helped us to train nurses. We held training at Bahati for nurses, oncology nurses, to know how now to test. They are trained nurses already, but then specialize, and they are the ones we go with in all these camps, wherever we go. And the county governments, they have been very, very helpful. The governors have worked with us, especially the governor of Machakos, Mutua. He really supported in a very big way, for which we are very grateful. Also NHIF, they have been able to give the cover, and they also supported us when we were starting. So it's a combination of many hands. And I want to appeal to other companies,
I think you should.
other banks,
Yes.
to really come and support this. We keep very clean accounts. I think I have a clean name in my working all those years. I have worked in public health. And we keep everything is open for any donor, and we do returns.
Okay.
Yes.
I think, Senator, the other question I'd ask, thinking about cancer, especially when you come out of Nairobi, some problems are not even about cancer itself. It could be you can't get to West Pokot because the roads are bad. Or you know, you're not able even to have maybe communication. I was talking with somebody from your foundation, and they said some of the problems are not even, they're just even communication is a problem, getting to the area is a problem. The struggle is so real when you leave Nairobi. What are some of the other things, structures that can be put in place to support cancer?
I think making health centers accessible. I say health centers because they are the ones we can be able to bring very close to the people. The law, the policy, when I was in the ministry, I think it was something like every 10 or 5 kilometers, the radius, I think it's 10, there should be a health center because that's where we should start. If we train those nurses nearby the people, who are near the people, we train them the basics, and then people get proper education and information why they must visit the clinic or the health center. And then those nurses are trained for the even basic
Yeah.
examinations. They will see where we need these people now to be referred to the next level or hospital for further help. I think bringing facility closer to the people is key. When, again, I was minister, we launched the community health workers program. I see it's uh, being brought back. I think community health workers, they are very useful because they are there
They
with
go
the
to the
people
ground.
all the time.
Yeah.
They can talk about health all the time. Keep on telling people, educating them, what are the signs, what you should do, what you should look out for, as opposed to these people waiting until when they go to the big hospital. I'm saying that because it will take some time maybe to get all the roads near to every village completely passable all the time, which should be the final goal. And I think that's why the president has put so much effort in infrastructure. And that's why, although people complain, say, oh, this, we are borrowing so much money, no country can develop infrastructure from
Their own
courts,
money.
for paying, yeah,
Taxes.
yeah, taxes. And now I'm bringing Kikuyu into this. Uh, taxes. All countries, they really develop by borrowing. And people must not be afraid to borrow as long as this money is not stolen the way we are reading, instead of the money going to infrastructure, going to somebody's pocket. That's terrible. That's then very bad. But if the money is going to develop, because we need infrastructure, like you said, we need bigger hospitals near people, not just a health center. So that's universal health care, part of the universal health care. We need much more information, and information does not cost so much, so that we, and the county governments, the Senate is coming up with a bill which is showing how the counties can support the fight against cancer.
Cancer.
And it's very well articulated. I'm a member of the health committee. And if the county governments put that into practice, I think we will have solved more than 70 or 75% of our cancer problem. I don't think we'll ever be able to eradicate
Yeah.
cancer, but reduce it to a minimum. I know even the big countries, they were telling me in US, every five Americans, one will die of cancer. So if that's America, then we know it's a problem. But how do we stop the deaths? Because I believe we can be able to stop or reduce to bare minimum. If we have this THV injection, we could control by approximately 75%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the measures we need to take to reduce the deaths, and it's possible. Pollution. I hope the government will also ban some of these chemicals, like Rauda. When you and I were growing, no, I think you're much younger, but we used to cultivate with the hoe
Yeah,
in the garden.
yeah.
Nobody cultivates anymore. They put Rauda to kill
The weeds.
yes, when you're killing the weeds, you're also killing yourself,
Yes.
because that chemical remains and will affect the crop. Then the crop is planted again with fertilizer.
Yes.
Then when it's growing, we spray the doo-doos. And then tomorrow we take it to the market. And then we say cancer is too much. So those are the measures we really have to take. I think it's very good. The government, the president announced we will have specific cancer hospitals, which will be very, equipped for cancer. But I think most of it lies in our lifestyles, in reducing these chemicals, in reducing pollution, in reducing over drinking, over smoking. No, when I was a minister, I banned smoking in
Yes.
public places.
Yes, you did,
Yes,
and
because
you made people, if they wanted to smoke, they had to go to a certain area.
yes, because secondhand smoke is worse than the one who is smoking. Even the children you used to
Yeah,
sing the song
yeah.
that Beth Mugo told them, the parents, not to smoke in the house. They will affect them,
Or to
give them
buy
cancer.
cigarettes from
Yes,
the shop.
yes, or to advertise. I banned advertising cigarettes and making university college students smoking. Then every young man thinks that's the way to go. And now our young men to stop drinking too much, shanga, alcohol is also too much alcohol. It's also not good. Just like cigarettes are worse, of course. And many other nyama choma, reduce nyama choma.
Nyama choma is going. Oh,
At least reduce. Even I eat, but moderately. You know, we have our young people, our men with nyama choma and drinking almost every
yeah.
weekend
Every weekend, yeah.
or even the
Yeah, and
full,
smoking.
or the whole weekend. We have to reduce those instances because colon cancer, esophagus, throat cancer, yeah. Huh? So those are some of the things I think we should, as a nation and as an individual level, family level, mothers, when we plan our meals, let's not give our children just this what they want, chips every day,
Pizza.
pizza, healthy foods.
I'm told we are running out of time. Do you have a
Yes.
parting shot? I always like to end with a parting shot.
But I think I've said everything that's
You,
to be said. Um,
I think as a grandmother, you always have a word of wisdom.
as a grandmother, yes,
And
I
as a
just want
woman,
to tell our young people they have a whole long life behind them. Not to spend all their energy, all their life today. To do whatever they do moderately. I have seen some things that have shocked me. There is tomorrow. And there are things for today and things for when they are parents and things when they are grandmothers and grandfathers, not to misuse what God has given them, but to enjoy life. Yes, it's part of being young, but enjoy responsibly, thinking of tomorrow and thinking of their parents. Yeah.
thank you so much.
And we don't want too much cancer on the young
We
people,
don't.
right?
We actually want to reduce cancer.
Completely.
And thank you for being the advocate of prevention. As you're very right, prevention is better than cure. And
Always.
thank you for hosting us. We are very grateful. And I must say that you look very lovely. And may you live many more years.
Thank you.
Yes. So there you are,
Thank you.
Dadas. We have been visiting with Beth Mugo, Senator Beth Mugo. We've had a really good time. she is for me, she is the champion of moderation and prevention. So if you haven't, go and get a mammogram and a pap smear this October. You must. You owe it to yourself as a dada. So have a good week and baraka.